What's going on, y'all? My name is Tommy. I have a stomach bug. I am very sick. I apologize this video is a little late, but I have a stomach bug, and I am very sick. And also, I don't really want to turn on my webcam right now. Do you know why? Because I have a stomach bug, and I'm very sick. And I probably look like hell, but welcome back to the Ancestry Anthology. I promise I'm still pretty. I promise I'm still Tommy. And I have not been replaced by some strange fox being from another world who's come to trick you. Or have I? Kitsune, one of my favorite Ancestries, has been brought into 2nd edition. Seriously, I've played this one a couple times. I've GM'd for it. Kurtama, Emeralda, Myriad, Zoella. There's definitely more in there, right? There's gotta be. I feel like there's gotta be. There was the one, the Final Fantasy game doesn't count. A lot of times is what I'm saying. And I really like them, and I really like what they did with them here, and we're here to talk about them. And remember, you don't get to see me fail to crack my knuckles this time, but if you're liking this, to like, subscribe, and ding the bell. Haha. Patreon is the #1 way to help me keep doing this. I appreciate y'all. Let's dive in. So we covered the Kitsune a long time ago in 1st edition. You can follow this card right up here if you missed out on that one. But truly they remain the same, a charismatic and witty people with 2 forms. One, the form of a fox-headed humanoid, and one, largely depending on where they were raised, either a humanoid body without any fox features that looks like a elf or a human, and there's this is not a versatile heritage. Though really I feel like they could have been, but I suppose that's a read and find out kind of thing. Or, in more rural areas, their 2nd form more likely to be literally just a fox. Most Kitsune live amongst other species, granting them a degree of insight into social rules and dynamics and things, and often have mixed ancestry family units because, they literally just shift forms. The children of Kitsune and non-Kitsune can come out as either one or the other, though many assume that a human baby from such a union has yet to reveal its fox parts, which of course leads to a huge misconception that all offspring of Kitsune are in fact Kitsune. In their normal form, they have vulpine ears, pointed snouts, short semi-retractable claws on their fingers and toes with dense fur, most often red, tan, black, or white in color, with bushy tails that grow in number as they hone their innate magical abilities to as many as 9. Mechanically, they have 8 hit points, are medium creatures with a speed of 25 feet with a boost to charisma with 1 freebie. Fair enough. And no neg. One of my favorite ancestries looks even more versatile now, and I love that. They have low light vision, begin speaking common with some free languages of course, and all gain the change shape ability with the concentrate, divine, Kitsune, polymorph, and transmutation traits. You transform into a specific alternate form determined by your heritage. If your heritage does not list a form, your alternate form is a tailless form, which is commonly a medium humanoid ancestry prevalent where you grew up. This form is the same age and body type as your true form and has roughly the same physical traits such as hair color and such. Change shape of course counts as creating a disguise for the impersonate use of deception. You lose any claws and things while in that form, but you can remain in your alternate form indefinitely and can shift back and forth using this action again. Which of course is very powerful if you need to go to a new place and don't want to reveal to them that you're a Kitsune, or you've gone to a new place, broken a whole bunch of laws, need to lay low for a little while. Nah, me, officer, I'm just a regular old elf man. Leave me alone. I'm not a criminal. You're secretly a criminal, but heritages. The Celestial Envoy gains the Invoke Celestial Privilege reaction and has the humanoid alternate form. Said reaction, you attempt a saving throw against a divine effect but haven't rolled. You get a +1 circumstance bonus on it, as well as to other saves against divine effects till the end of your next turn. It pays to be chosen by Daikitsu, after all. The Dark Fields Kitsune gains the fox form as a 1st level pest form as its alternate shape. You can exert your unsettling presence to subtly demoralize others. When you do, it loses the auditory trait and gains the visual trait, and you don't take a penalty if you can't speak languages, which is helpful if you're, a fox. You also gain the Invigorating Fear reaction, which gives you temp HP equal to a creature within 60 feet of you who just got the Frightened Conditions level, or 3, whichever is higher, which is real good. Also, is this a new Kitsune? I think this is a new Kitsune. I'm just gonna say it is, until they print out a different Oni typing and they've showed me up. But the Earthly Wilds Kitsune also becomes a fox and gains a Jaws unarmed attack that does 1d6 piercing damage in the brawling group with the finesse and unarmed traits. The Empty Sky Kitsune gains Kitsune spell familiarity as an ancestry feat, which says that during your daily prep you choose Daze, Forbidding Ward, or Ghost Sound. Until your next daily prep, you can cast that cantrip as a Divine Innate at will. This one, of course, giving you the tailless form as well. The Frozen Wind Kitsune gets cold resistance equal to half its level, a minimum of 1, and treats environmental cold effects as if they were one step less extreme, and also gets that tailless form. Now let's take a look at those ancestry feats, shall we? Right out the gate at level 1, you knew you'd see it. Oh, Foxfire, a crack of your tail spark, wisps of blue energy come out, choose either electricity or fire. Once you gain the feat, you gain a Foxfire ranged unarmed attack with a max range of 20 feet, which deals 1d4 damage of that chosen type with no modifier. In the sling weapon group, it can be improved with hand wraps. The Frozen Wind guys can choose cold instead. Now, if this gets better with time, this is pretty cool. I really wish you could add your charisma to this, or like whatever spellcasting modifier you might possess to make this even more playable. As it stands, it's not the worst, like, pseudo-javelin if they're running away from you. Kitsune lore, of course, diplomacy and deception, and Kitsune lore itself, or extra trained proficiencies if you already had one of these. Kitsune spell familiarity, which we already talked about. Retractable claws gives you a claw unarmed attack that deals 1d4 slashing damage in the brawling group with the agile, finesse, and unarmed traits. Shape Changer's Intuition, when you come within 10 feet of a creature that is transformed into another form or is impersonating a specific creature, the GM rolls a secret perception check for you to realize the creature is transformed even if you didn't seek against it. Now that's really good. That's sniff out the doppelgangers. It's definitely sideboard tech, but it's very good sideboard tech in a lot of campaigns. Is that wolf actually a druid? Is that wolf the animal form of a werewolf? Only our Kitsune friends will know. Next, the Star Orb. Something I was kind of excited to see, because I did in fact GM for a Kitsune a very long time ago, and the recovery of her people's Star Orbs was a major plot point of that campaign. In 2nd edition, the Star Orbs are familiars. Tiny stones of light bulk with no speeds. They must select a speed familiar ability before they can roll around after you. It always has the innate surge master ability, aka buff more of your spells out. A little not pearl of power floating around with you. Seems kind of cool. Next, hybrid form. When you change shape, you retain elements of your Kitsune form, which allow you to speak in fox form, use your bites or your claws in tailless form, or gain a tail in your tailless form to use abilities that would require one. You can change shape to alter the details of your hybrid form without fully changing into your true form or alternate form. While in hybrid form, your fox-like features make it obvious that you aren't a normal humanoid. Or ostensibly Yoko Kurama. Very good. I definitely flavor texted a lot of my Kitsune NPCs back in the day like this. It's nice to see it come down as just straight up, here's a feat, you can do this now. Kitsune Spell Mysteries. If you have one innate spell from a Kitsune Heritage or Ancestry feat, you learn even more, choosing from Bane, Illusory Object, or Sanctuary as Divine Innates once per day, or more with your Starball. Myriad Forms lets you have your fox shape and eat it too, gaining the alternate form of a Kitsune Heritage other than your own. For all the more tech. Seriously, you've heard me talk about how good familiars are in Pathfinder. Becoming the tiny creature an unlimited amount of times per day is also just incredibly strong. Foxes live basically everywhere, so it's very easy to just pretend to be a fox and hide, and no one will think anything different of it. Or of course the very obvious ones like slipping in spots where a medium creature's not gonna fit. Shifting faces if you are of the tailless. When you change shape into your tailless form, you gain the effect of a 3rd level illusory disguise for 1 hour or until you shift back, except it's transmutation, not illusion. A+ tech for a intriguey, sneaky kind of game. Fox Trick at level 9, once per hour. As a free action, you create a diversion, conceal an object, or hide. Everyone who sees you do this wises up to it and becomes immune for 24 hours. But for your rogues who are trying to hide things or proc sneak attacks by making things flat-footed or just GTFO, as a free action, giving you more time to move, more time to attack, so on and so forth. That's pretty good. That's huge. Killing Stone lets your Star Orb, if you have it, as of course it is a prereq, cast a 5th level Cloud Kill. Gross. As a Divine Innate once per day, the spell's normal components are replaced with the focus component, your Star Orb. and a somatic component to aim the orb towards the location of the spell, and oops, now everyone's got the poison. Interesting. Kitsune spell expertise gives you even more divine innates. This time we're choosing from Confusion, Death Ward, or Illusory Scene. You also become an expert in divine spell DCs and divine spell attack rolls. Normally I don't care for these, but since you can take a star ball and just have a familiar to refresh some of these in-house, they look a little better. 2 confusions per day, especially in a 4 degrees of success world, where even on a success they get stunned 1. Like, that's not horrible. That's pretty darn playable. I would take that. 10 out of 10. And then lastly, Rampaging form. Once per day, when you change shape into a fox, you can gain the effects of both the canine form of a 5th level animal form and 7th level fiery body for a minute until you shift back, whichever comes first. You can cast Produce Flame from the fiery body effect even though you're in battle form. Of course, if you're a Frozen Wind Kitsune, this is cold flavored and not fire flavored, but this is dope. This is Kilala. This is you now become Kilala and start breathing fire on folks. I had done this as like reflavoring red dragons to essentially be Ninetales a very, very long time ago. But hey, you know, if you're gonna bake it in, that's even better. Kind of feels like my favorite race is getting its cake and eating it too in 2nd edition. I like that a lot. And you know what else I like? I mean, we could go on about how the Kitsune are from Japanese mythology, and they are this, and isn't that cool? But like, Tommy has already said that, and again, follow the card at the beginning of the video, you can hear me talk about that. I think here in 2e, the thing I like the most is that there is a clear marked Kitsune settlement tab, which clearly points out that this race based on Japanese mythology has made its way across the world and truly is a globalized thing, so you can play them in any campaign you want and it's not weird. That makes so much sense to me. I had it explained to me once, and at the time when it was explained to me, I wasn't ready to hear it. But like, in a world where teleportation exists, I find it very hard to believe that certain species would just stay in certain parts of the world and never migrate. All it takes is a couple of them to attain the level of magic to teleport across the world, and then they decide they like that climate better, or like want to run away and start over, or are just hashtag van life throughout all of Galarian, setting up settlements and things, and boom, there it is. I will say though, I was a little confused to not see any ancestry feats that straight up give you extra tails. Oh, nope, I missed the thing. Check this out. Special rules for Kitsune feats. Whenever you gain a level, you can grow 1 or more tails. Your maximum number of tails is equal to the highest level spell you can cast from your spell slots or non-cantrip Kitsune innate spells, or 1 plus your number of Kitsune ancestry feats, whichever is higher, to a maximum of 9 tails. This doesn't seem to do anything mechanically, so it's not quite as good as taking the 9-tailed feats that you would take back in the day, but it's there and we can definitely build around it if nothing else. I would look for extra feats that play around with your number of tails as we move forward, because literally the more tails a Kitsune has, the more powerful they are. Though, if nothing else, it's an interesting flavor text. If you run into a Kitsune NPC with 9 tails, you know they are a very goddamn powerful caster. But that's all the time we have for today. What do you guys think? Have we played Kitsune in 2nd edition? Have we played them in 1st edition? Throw it down in the comments. We'll be back at it next week with another one. Until then, thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.